long so this would load in time.
Yeah, it worked.
So I'm in out of Austin, Texas. Just to start here while we're loading, who here is already doing video? Are you shooting video yourself, or are you doing like social media video?
We're doing social media video.
Okay. Anyone else doing social media video? Are you guys using like Snapchat or Instagram Live or even Facebook Live in your current business? All right, go on. Okay, cool. So let's start here.
Down here.
I love Keynote. I have to adjust back to, I'm a Mac junkie. I love MacBooks. I use my Apple for everything, so I have to struggle here. But we're going to go over video apps for getting over stage fright and then editing from your smartphone. A lot of these ones, not only do they work on your smartphone, but you can use them on your laptop, your iPad, or your desktop if you prefer. So don't feel like you're limited. It's just that I know with my life, I do so much on my mobile. It's just this little handheld computer anymore. So. Being confident on camera. So the first way to be confident on camera, I feel like, is accepting that you're going to make mistakes. People want you to be authentically you. So what I feel like a lot of people do is they get themselves worked up that they have to be really polished. So one of the #1 things people call us and ask us for is like, can you have a teleprompter there? The teleprompter is not your friend. There's a reason that we make fun of politicians speaking on one, because you can tell they're just reading it off of a cue card, right? It's kind of, if you're in government or you're in a professional job where you don't get a lot of on-camera training, then people rely a lot on the teleprompter. So you can see people reading, kind of going back and forth. There are free apps for it. If you really feel like you need that crutch, you can have the iPad apps that do that, but they're really not solid for you. It's not doing yourself a favor. You're just not going to be authentically you. You're going to try and remember a script. That comes to my second point. With the type of video that you guys are doing, you really don't want to be using a script. It's okay to have talking points and to kind of practice a little bit what you want to talk about before you get on camera. But the minute you start trying to script what you say, you stop being yourself, because you're sitting there thinking. You're in another headspace, kind of thinking about, what am I going to say next? Did I word that right? I don't know that I used the right verb. And you overthink it. And we see this all the time because we're filming people and they'll just be like, oh, wait, I don't want to say it that way. It's like, say it exactly how you'd say it, like you're just talking to me. And these are good tips to know too, because a lot of times with the social media video, you're going to want to bring somebody else in and interview them, right? That's kind of how you flatter people. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And you don't want to send them the questions ahead of time. If somebody says, just send me a list of questions, be like, well, here's some things we're going to talk over. But keep it really broad. Because the minute that you give someone questions ahead of time, you're not actually making them feel better, you're making them overthink it. They think it's a kindness, but it's like one of the meanest things you can do to somebody that you're going to put on camera, because they get really stuck on it. Now, if you're going to talk about something like fair housing or something where you have to really watch a legal issue, okay, of course that's different. Presidential statements, there's a reason they have to read that. They make the wrong statement, I mean, the world literally explodes. So that's something to keep in mind. So don't try to overscript it, don't try to overspeak it. Stick to topics you are knowledgeable about. A lot of times people will pull like a content generator and be like, here's the 10 things you should talk about. And everyone wants a how-to video, and you should really be going over how to winterize your home. If you don't know how to do it, don't try and speak to it, right? I mean, Google's full of how-to videos and how-to guides, and yes, you could brush up on it, but you're going to be the most comfortable talking on camera about the things that you're an expert in, the things that you love, the things you're passionate about. And maybe those aren't all real estate related. Maybe it's just about letting people see your personality and know what you're about. I mean, I do a lot of video stuff that's just me showing my pet turtle, because people know that about me, right? Like, they know about Gunther, and he's like the coolest turtle ever. I'm pretty sure he's in this presentation like 17 times. So, but it just lets people know you. It doesn't always have to be you selling them or giving them that added value of knowledge. Sometimes you're just being like, here's who I actually am. Here's me with my hackles down. Which hackles are the fur on the dog's back, because somebody always asks me afterwards what a hackle is. So if you ever see a dog that gets mad, that's that ridge. And we all have that when we first get on camera, right? We're all just like a little bit insecure. So stick to topics that you are knowledgeable about, or this is where we talk about bringing in an expert. So if you are really nervous about being on camera, one of the things that can really help is interviewing somebody else. So you bring them in to be the expert. Not only are they flattered by it, because you're saying, hey, you know so much about home inspections. You've helped me out a million times. I want to bring you in and talk about like why someone might want to get their home pre-inspected. So you can ask them those questions. It's helping you convince your clients to get their home pre-inspected, and you're flattering your home inspector. And what's he going to do with that video? he's going to want to share it out to his people, right? So it's just kind of your way of, you know, Trojan horsing into other people's social media too. When you put them on there and you're willing to tag them, they'll generally share it, and other people from your company will generally share it. You can usually get on their social media. Plus, you can tag them in your own post when you put it up, whether it's on your blog, and then you have a link back, or it's on your Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. Are any of you guys familiar with what I'm talking about with you linking back with people? Anyone not familiar? Okay. You both, everyone answered no to both, so that's a good sign. So one of the big ways to build up your social proof is when you are using either hashtags or linking back, or you know, when you use the @ sign in front of a name and you can tag somebody's handle in there. So those are all different ways depending on the platform you are. Hashtags really, Facebook business hashtags still work. Facebook profiles, they don't. There's just too many privacy settings, so it looks a little silly to use the hashtags there. Instagram, those hashtags are still very important. I have content, I have 19,000 photos, I think, on Instagram. Sorry if you follow me, I'm a massive overposter. But I will have people that are searching for a topic or searching for a place they travel or something that I posted about 4 or 5 years ago, and they'll find that picture because that hashtag is still relevant. So if you're really farming a neighborhood and you have a lot of content from there, or you're trying to show off that you're the expert of all the pumpkin patches and they, you know, might reach out to you, those are just content that's evergreen. It doesn't really go away as long as you've tagged it, hashtagged it properly. So remember to breathe. You're speaking faster when you're on camera. It's just a known thing that everyone feels like they're going so slow, and you feel like you're talking like this, but you're really speeding through it. The same thing goes from holding cameras. If you've ever noticed when somebody's in a crowd, they kind of do one of these on you, and this feels fast even with me holding it, but then they're watching a tiny version of it, and it's just sped up almost 10 times more. So I would tell people just to put your phone in your hip. It looks silly, but it works. It kind of stabilizes it when you're doing vertical video, because there's a lot of great apps out there for stabilizing horizontal video that we'll talk about, but not so much for the vertical, and that's so important now with the new IGTV, which is Instagram's new longer format TV to compete with YouTube. I speak a lot of nerds, so at any point raise your hand if I'm not making sense. Again, don't over practice, don't go for perfection. Perfection is really disingenuous with the type of conversation you're trying to have with people. When your video seems so perfect and so polished, they're not getting to know you. And a lot of the purpose of video, a lot of the power of video is that people feel like they know, like, and trust you before they've ever met you. It's the reason why you'll see at large expos, they'll have videos of themselves playing, because it makes people feel more comfortable to come up and talk to them because they literally just saw them, right? It's why celebrities feel like our best friends. Still waiting for Justin Timberlake to call me, but it really makes a huge difference. Where the majority of our camera falls down is lighting. Lighting is one of the most simple tricks to changing your video from good to bad. The easiest video for you to shoot is going to be outside, right? When you don't have a lot of gear with you. I think I brought this, yeah. When you don't have a lot of gear with you, just using your cell phone outside during the day, you're gonna get pretty solid video. Be mindful of where the sun is. Obviously it's glaring at either you straight in the eye, so you're winking and crying and people are really concerned why you're so upset, or it's blowing out the lens. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing that I love is this, this is a Lumi case. And it's got a little backlight or front light for selfie videos. Doesn't make a huge difference, but it makes a difference, especially when it's darker, and then it has a backlight too. Now, this doesn't cast a lot of light, obviously, but you know what it does? It makes whoever you're filming feel more important. That's what a lot of our gear is about. It makes it feel like something real. So when I run around the admin conferences, a lot of times this battery is dead. Looks the same. Looks totally the same. But when it's on, it feels important. So if you're out there, you're trying to look a little bit more official, it does cast about that far away. So if you want to be in their face, it'll give you a nice glow. This bigger HD light here that you see, those run about 40 to 60 bucks. I go to bnhphoto.com to get most of my stuff. Amazon can have it too. You can price shop between the two of them, but they match, so it makes it easier for me. These are beautiful lights. They will cast farther. Nothing's going to film something across the room. Anybody gone to a concert and you see one has their flash on? Your flash is only going to throw like this far away when it's a cell phone flash. It's not going to shoot across the room. What actually happens when you use a flash bulb like that, because you're trying to throw that light so far, it's darkening everything around you. You're actually just completely ruining your shot. If you really have to shoot something when it's very dark and you don't have a light, Snapchat actually has the best low light handling, which is very surprising for the iPhone. Android actually holds up better. That's the one thing I like better about Android, is how they handle darker light. So if you open up your Snapchat app, if it's the only thing you ever use it for, If you put that little moon, there's like a little hollowed out moon, if you tap it, it goes into night mode, and it just naturally pumps it up without killing the ISO like your iPhone would naturally to try and make that work. ISO being the grain, that makes the video very grainy and kind of hard to use. So it is nice, just a little cheat there. You'll see these rings a lot. These rings were pretty popular because they make nice selfie glows, right? They come in different colors. If you're going to get one, it's great for selfie video. Get one that lets you change the color temperature. What that means is if you're really bright outside and it gets kind of blue, then you can warm it up. Or if you're inside, iPhones tend to shoot very warm. It'll kind of cool it down for you. It's why some of the Instagram apps, if you go through like what are the most popular filters, everyone's always trying to cool down their iPhone photos. So Clarendon actually seems to do really well. So that is, it's very simple. It comes with this full kit. This kit will clip to any cell phone. They're adjustable. Nothing's made for just one phone anymore. I mean, the Lumi, it took a while, but they finally made them for Android. They were, the Kardashians were big proponents behind it. So if you follow any of that stuff, not that I have time for that or do, but if I did, they use a lot of this gear. And it is funny, but like celebrity bloggers are the first ones that are going to use it, right? So that's my reason for looking at all that. Next here we have audio. Audio is a huge problem with most people's video. It is what makes video unwatchable. The good news is that they did a study and the majority of women are watching it at work with the audio off. So it doesn't really matter what music you're playing or what you're saying. It does matter that you use subtitles, and YouTube will automatically subtitles for you now, or you can type out your own subtitles if you really want. Just check the spelling on the YouTube one. But men tend to watch the most video in the bathroom, also on mute, hopefully. So apparently your audio is not that important. So all this overthinking of what we're going to say, most people want to watch pretty video. And if it's how-to, they want the instructions to be listed, and they want to be able to see it visually. So using those text graphics on there to say like, step 1, this, and then you can split it out as long as you want. But most people just want you to cut to the point, right? We have the patience of hamsters now. But these are two nice options if you do want to carry about that audio. What I tell a lot of people is when I go to Instagram or I go to Snapchat, I turn the audio off, I turn music on. You know, if they're listening, there's some pleasant music, but I don't do a lot of talking on the camera. If I am doing an interview, this set here, this Rode one, now it's made for iOS, but it will allow you to do podcasting. It is very clean. It's not cheap at $174, but when you get to audio gear, most of the gear that we use for our DSLRs, I mean, it starts in the thousands. So it is relatively good compared to the cost point. It's very clean. And again, it has an adapter. Now with the new iPhone X, you have to get a extender adapter, but again, I think that was like $9. So it works great. There are other ones out there that are like $40 ones that you can find on Amazon that you clip on here that you can use on Droid. It's just the feedback is a little difficult. So the hard part I tell people is when you're getting used to a microphone and you go out in the field and you interview somebody and then you get all this feedback on it and it's roomed, you have to kind of set them up for, hey, we're going to film 10 of these, we're only going to be able to use 5. And you can say it's my producer or my content director or whoever you want to say, blame it on somebody else who doesn't exist. Because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings by promising they'll be on video and then it just, either you have a technical issue and it's blown and you don't have to go back and tell them that, or you totally botched it or they totally botched it. When we've brought people on, I've seen them be like national experts and they speak and they're just like on point and then you turn a camera on them and I'm like, do you know how to speak English anymore? No? Okay. Or they cough a lot, they get nervous. It changes how you feel once the camera is turned on you. I love being behind the camera, never in front of it. So I actually lose all my words, which is great because there's one pointing at me right now. And then I just became aware of that, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But it does definitely change things with your audio. iPhone, one of the first things that breaks on it is your intake audio, right? That's why you get that weird speaker sound. But again, everything's forgivable. If you really want to save your audio, you know, Snapchat can make it sound like a robot or a monkey, and then you can be like, I purposely did that. That's how forgiving we've made the internet. Framing. So everybody wants to like do the run and gun. I'm at an open house, and I'm just going to sit here at this desk, and I'm going to do a Q&A, or we've got a green room in our office, but it's the size of a coat closet. So here's some things to just be cautious of. Be aware of the mixed lighting. So if we look in this room, for instance, We have the light that's going to come up here. We've got the natural light coming in the window, and then we've got these beautiful fluorescent lights that are so flattering, right? So you have 3 colors right there alone, and any color you're adding through your own cell phone. So you have to be cognizant of the light that's happening in the room. It's great to have natural light, but it does tend to wash people out a little bit. So this is where your gels come in. That's where, if your company has like amber gels, I'm not sure if you're a green screen room, but make sure you warm it up, or else understand that it's harder to fix in post than everyone always jokes they can fix it in post, and that's why all editors hate people. We hate people. So just be really cognizant of that. Be aware of mixed lighting. Do not stand too close to a wall or a green screen. So I feel like people get nervous about being on camera and they just like back all the way up into the corner for some reason, so you get this sweet echo effect that's happening, and also you have the weird shadows playing. Shadows aren't very flattering, right? Anytime you have a shadow, it makes it look like you don't know how to shave, or you are a woman with beard, or you have like this weird kind of thing going on here. Shadows aren't flattering. That's why you have a thing called backlighting. A lot of people use a third light that goes behind you, but that has to get balanced too. So it gets a little nerve-wracking. When you buy a standard light kit from like B&H, it comes with 3 lights for that reason. One in front, one behind, and one to the side, because it wants you to not have those shadows falling on you. If you keep your face nicely lit, you keep under here nicely lit, 20 years of regret kind of disappears. It's wonderful. But if you don't, 20 pounds of regret adds. So you just be cognizant of that again. Backlight is very, very important. Sometimes I've seen people just move their desk light, those little lamps, and it can add something. But be very careful of it. I do tell people just take a picture first. Take a picture and see how that picture looks before you film the whole video. It's like a 2-second stop, and see, can I warm that picture up? Can I make it look the way that I want it to? With green screens, they're really tricky. People love the idea of green screen. For some reason, they need a shark to be attacking a gorilla in the background. I don't know. But green screen's really trendy, and I understand that. But it's also very tricky because it has obviously a green cast to it. And the way to get rid of a green cast is to put a pink cast on it, right? So you have to have like, this pink gel that keeps your hair from disappearing, especially if you're blonde. For a lot of the blonde types, when you're trying to pull all the green out, you have to really, really pump up that magenta. It starts to make your face look kind of pinkish. So just be very aware of that, how far away you step from the green. The farther you step forward, the less of that effect it's going to have. So again, if you're trying to use a really small room, if you're trying to set the green screen in your office, be aware of how close you stand to it. The other thing that you could think of is having a B&C camera. It sounds like overkill to try and mix cameras together, but if it is a really important person that you're interviewing, or you're really nervous about, don't really understand the camera technology very much, it's okay to have more than one camera running. And sometimes we'll do that, so if somebody really flubs up, then we have a camera to cut to, just using cell phones. We've set up an iPad and 2 cell phones before. I had my laptop running in a cell phone before. If my battery's low, I want to run a second camera so that when this one dies, I still look like I'm a professional who knows what I'm doing. So that's what the B&C camera works for. I know this is getting a little bit technical, and I know some people are like, just show me how to shoot something with the on my Facebook with my cell phone, and other people want to know how to do 3 camera shoots. So I know there's a bit of an arc here, but I have seen some cool videos come out. So. Hair, makeup, and accessories. When using the green screen, you want to keep your hair tighter. If you have loose flowing hair, or you're trying to do big curls and you're blonde, that's where you start to have to do the effect where they kind of cut it down and you get kind of like the bowl effect of your hair being really flattened down on you. So keep it tighter. Shine control is the biggest thing that people forget with being on camera, any kind of camera, is we're all naturally going to be a little bit oily. So men don't want to wear a lot of powder, you don't need to do a ton of makeup, but even just taking a napkin or a tissue and just going over the T-zone and your ears. People get really distracted because their ears will bug them. They don't know what bugs them. I know what's bugging them. But your ears will kind of shine back at you. So just go through the T-zone and your ears, just take the oil off. A little bit of powder goes a long way, but you have to have it matching. I know a lot of times people are like, everyone uses the same one, and then you look like a cadaver, which is super flattering on camera, right? So you want to be conscious of what the glare looks like, what the makeup looks like. Oh good, a second camera. That's the irony of this class, isn't it? The more accessories you have, the more noise it's going to make. And when you get nervous, you'll do kind of what I'm doing. Like, I'm not Italian, but you might think I am because I'm acting Italian with my hands, because I've taken off most of my jingles and jangles, but if you are a nervous person about being on camera, there's a chance that you're going to play with your hair a lot. There's a chance that you're gonna fiddle with any jewelry, earrings, or they're gonna bang against each other. So you're gonna hear the bangles going the entire time, you're gonna hear the change in your pocket, the keys, shoes. A lot of times people tap their shoes when they're really nervous, and then that's all people are paying attention to in the video, or it's all you think they are, because when you hear it, you're gonna be like, I can't believe I did that. You're gonna count how many times you say the word don't worry, you will say it. It's just a known thing, and you can maybe edit it out, but what gets really distracting is any jewelry that's making noise, playing with your hair too much. If you are prone to playing with it, pull it up tight. Don't obsess over looking perfect on camera, because the truth of the matter is, are you going to look perfect when you pick them up and you guys are running around from house to house, when you're trying to catch somebody's dog that's trying to dart out the door? Just look at them, or look at your video as your chance to be a professional, but also to introduce themselves to who they're actually going to be meeting. If you look like a supermodel and you brought in somebody and they did your hair really glam and they did your makeup, one, you have to be aware of who might you be attracting to come meet with you, and is it for the right reasons, and is it safe, and also, are they gonna show up and do you want them to look disappointed or confused or be like, you don't really look the same in your video, because that doesn't make me feel really great. So just be authentically you, look authentically you, and fine, if you don't usually iron your shirt, maybe do that. But don't overthink the makeup, don't overthink the hair. Cameras are 4K and HD. So the change is that now they're gonna show everything, right? So it used to be like, well, we're gonna pancake makeup on and no one will know. Well, now we know you pancake makeup on. Now we can see there's 2 inches of theatrical makeup on. And so just be very aware of that. You just dress and wear your makeup as you normally would, but pay attention to the shine control. Okay, clothing. Busy patterns, tiny prints, and striping causes a thing called a Moore effect. So have you ever seen that where you film something and it kind of bounces a little bit? And what it is when there's really tight patterns, the camera can't quite compensate for it because it's really trying to focus, so it'll start making it jump a lot. So like for this gal up front with the tight blazer here, the white and black, that would probably jump on camera. So a lot of men's checkered shirts will start doing that. Look at that effect when they're really close. And tiny, tiny prints, busy patterns, it's not really super flattering in the first place on camera. And same with stripes. Stripes tend to elongate things in ways you don't want them to be elongated. And it seems to be the #1 thing people want to refilm. Avoid anything too shiny or metallic. Obviously that's for the camera because it's going to shine back on it and it will distract. You can get a glare off of the lights that you're using, off of your jewelry and clothing. So something to keep in mind. Blacks are always going to be the most flattering, and so are solids. Usually if I'm going to be interviewed somewhere, I will bring a couple different blazers or sweaters with me because I don't know what their backdrop's going to be. And the worst thing is, okay, you show up in your nice yellow sweater and guess what the backdrop is, or the wall you're standing in front of? Yellow. So you still get that green screen effect where you're a floating head to a degree, or it just makes you appear larger or less than you are because you have this, you're competing with the wall, which is not exactly what anyone wants to be in life. So blacks and solids are most flattering. You might want to avoid red. If you're doing the green screen, the red can be too bouncing. And also, if you're paler, red can really cast up onto your face and into your hair. It's a very bold color, but you can kind of get lost in it and then it'll make your face look red. And if you get nervous at all and you're already going to be a little bit red, let's just accentuate that, right? So be very careful about that color. And then, of course, blue and green. We always talk about green screen, but a lot of places actually use a blue screen because it's a little bit easier to punch the color out. Green screen is just a more popular name. At the TV station, we use blue screen. So you just have to be conscious of making sure that you either check ahead on what color you're going to be in front of, or you bring some options with you. And you might want to suggest that to somebody else that you're interviewing. If you're bringing them into this room, you might want to say, hey, the back of the wall is kind of this color green, so keep that in mind, because people do care about those things. And then, of course, again, take the picture first, make sure that it doesn't blend inappropriately or lose some information. All right, Instagram stories. So a lot of what I talk about with Instagram stories is going to apply to Snapchat stories and to Facebook stories as well. Instagram stories are just the most popular. They really came after Snapchat very hard, and it worked. So just to break down the basic platforms for anybody who's not familiar, but Facebook has an ability now that you can send something to your story. It lasts for 24 hours. It shows up, and your friends see a little alert, and they can click on it and watch it, and you get a list of all your friends that watched it. And you can add some funny filters. This is something Snapchat was originally created for. Snapchat was kind of a dating app. It was really pushed towards the college students that hey, if you send pictures, they disappear and no one will ever see them again. Turns out it was a big lie. The system got hacked, and everyone's like, cool, awesome, great plan. So Instagram or Snapchat kind of became the place where younger teens were going because mom and dad don't have an account here, and everything disappears and they can't see what I wrote. Turns out there's an app for that too if you're a parent, and you can see everything that they write. But I digress. Don't tell my parents about that one. But it does give you a chance to kind of get over your camera fright. This is why I think Instagram is like a really brilliant way to start using cameras for the first time, start using video for the first time, or Snapchat. But I like Instagram because it's owned by Facebook. It's huge, and it's one of the best marketing tools out there right now. It's kind of beating Facebook on a lot of my ads that I run and my ROI, and I found that to be similar with other friends. So Instagram stories it looks like this little fancy thing. When you have a story that's viewable, it'll show up this little color ring around yours, otherwise it just stays white and sad. And then with your friends, it'll show you your friends up here. It's my sister. She doesn't know she's in my presentation. And it'll let you know which of your friends have something to watch. Now, if I start watching Natalie's, it'll automatically skip over to Brooke's. It'll automatically skip over to Sophia's. So it'll keep going through those stories until you stop it, which is kind of nice. Your friends see that you look through them, and you can tap to go really fast, but they still see that you looked at them. So if you're bored, nobody has to know you didn't want to watch 15 videos of their child. But it does give you a chance to see some behind the scenes of people's worlds. Okay. So the cool part about how this works is you can use photos or video and mix it together. You can download that story at the end of the day. So say you're going to like the parade of homes, you're going to be in a bunch of different houses. You could film little short clips of the kitchens. You can take photos of different kitchen areas that you went into, and then you can download that video of all the different kitchens from the parade of homes that you saw that day and use them as an IG story, which we'll talk about, or put that in the content. They have these little content things I'll show you, or you put it on Facebook, YouTube. Eventually you'll be able to put your vertical video on. So there's some really fun repurposing of that media. You can put it into your blog. So it's not like you did it and 24 hours later it disappeared and I did all that for nothing. You have that content now, you can download it as a story and use it somewhere else. So it's kind of like a built-in editor throughout the day. And so if you have content put up there, you could say, okay, well, 40 people liked it. I guess that's pretty popular. I'll post it. Or 4 people liked it. Probably won't save that one. And you can even see which ones they tap through faster and say, okay, I'm going to slice that part out. I'm going to get rid of that one, and then download it, and then put it somewhere else. So it kind of gives you the vote by people's feet chance here. So it's very simple. This is what it'll look like when you pull it up, and it'll automatically go into normal mode. What normal mode means is you tap the white button, it takes a picture, you hold it down, it takes a video. So you can also switch over to these other types where you're just doing typing that's in a video style, where you're doing live, so you can live stream, and it will give everybody an alert that you're live streaming. It can do boomerang, and it can do this really cool pop-in video I'll show you. So there's a lot of fun things they built in. They are constantly adding new things. I had to flip out some of these slides 4 days ago because they just did another big upgrade on it, because it's popular and people like it. I saw a really popular trend going with videos for a while where it was Q&As. Just when you're in the big expert push was like when you're sitting in an open house, do a Q&A with everybody, and then you're using that downtime. So people would jump on Facebook Live, and they'd be like, hey, I'm here, blah, 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 and I'm doing a Q&A, and then nobody would say anything besides like, hi, it's your mom, and then super awkward, right? Whereas Snapchat and Instagram both have a huge advantage is nobody can see that no one's talking to you, right? So you could go on Snapchat or this live and be like, hey, I'm at this event right now. I'm going to be checking in here. If you have any questions about being a first-time home buyer or veteran loans or whatever your expertise is, you just hit me up and I'll be here and I'll hop on anytime I get one and answer, and I'm here anyway, so let me help you out. And then 5 minutes later be like, thanks, Nancy. Yeah, that is true. When the first time that you do that, you actually don't have to pay your agent this or whatever. I don't know anything about real estate. Is that clear? But you can hop in and yes, I can sell houses to you, white ones and black ones and green ones, I don't know. So whatever it is, you can kind of pre-make those questions up and then have it go back and forth. And then, you're not sitting there awkwardly. Nobody has to know that you don't really have any friends. And you're going to go through all those questions. And then what that really does, though, it's not just about faking it so you make it. It makes those people that are too shy to be the first one to ask a question feel like, okay, other people are asking questions. Maybe it's okay to ask, how can I repair my credit? Just don't say my name, or things like that. I think the credit one is a big deal for people. I think that a lot of first-time home buyers and friends that I've talked to, like, they don't want to admit their financial status, they don't want to ask those uncomfortable questions. So if you can fake that those questions are being asked for you and answer them in a way, then you're the one giving information to somebody without putting them in that super awkward position of like, so I have no money, how do I buy things? Well, you don't, but here's how you can work up to it, things like that. That's where the Q&A comes in really handy. The nice part is you can tag your location in there and you can send it to individual people as well as your story. So let's say that I was in a neighborhood, Arbor Sagers, that's where I grew up, I know that neighborhood. So you're talking a little bit about how, oh, there's a 4th of July party happening here, I'm going to be at it, da-da-da-da, or am I going to see you there? You can send it to, take that neighborhood so that that content stays with that neighborhood, and then also send it to your story as well as the friends you know who might be in that area or interested in that area. So you're kind of feeding it directly to them, and you can see who opened it or not. What I do say with location is anytime you add your location to your social media, it performs better. There are stats on it. You also take a risk because you are letting somebody know where you are at right then. So if you are by yourself, it is not great to add your location. Your photography, your phone can remember where that picture was taken. You're better off loading it after you've been in your car, doors locked, or you've driven away. I can go on right now and post a photo from Vegas from 2 weeks ago. It's going to remember where I was at in Vegas, but I'm not putting myself at risk by checking in there. Now, when you're doing live video, that's a little difficult, but you are an event. So just be cognizant. Again, I use that word a lot, but with video, there is that element of safety you have to pay attention to whenever you check in. I was literally telling somebody about this at a coffee shop, and I was showing her like, oh, I can check in here with you, and a gentleman walked into the coffee shop and was like, I just saw you're in town. I'm like, super. Great. Well, thanks for proving my point. Couldn't have hired you to do it, and also I'm terrified of you now, so good job. It's weird. I didn't go on a date with them. I should have. But yeah, so this is a nice part about letting you have the location and go to it. And this is where I publicly humiliate myself with this next slide. Maybe. Well, that's fun. Why is it?
Looks like the time for the
Oh, cool. This is fun. All right. Restart it.
Okay.
You want me to restart it? I can hit the restart. It didn't want to see the videos either. It's me some money. Yes, ma'am.
You're going through a lot of things that, for me anyway, are over my head. However, who are people that we can hire? Is it like Mary Kate in our office, or you to do these things for us instead of us trying to learn all of? I mean, it's good for us to know what to wear, for appearance, location, but all the technical of the camera and things.
Here's the nice part. There's a whole spectrum, right? There's a spectrum where you can pick up your cell phone and you can do a lot of it yourself. And then there's a spectrum where it's kind of a higher end and it may be a team where you have an assistant or you have somebody. I don't know Mary Kate's role. I know she's in marketing. I don't know if she is for hire. I mean, yes, there are people like me and other people that can come do it for you. But the point of this is there's a lot of it that's simple enough to do. What happens is people get so intimidated because it sounds complicated that they don't want to do it. If you ever want to wonder if it's difficult or not, take your phone, put it on airplane mode, hand it to like your 8-year-old nephew, and then have him teach it to you 10 minutes later. It's crazy, but they make it so intuitive now that it just feels intimidating at first. And anything you get stuck at, any question you have on Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook, you can put it in Google and you'll get an answer instantly. And so the barrier of entry to get into something seems a lot higher than it is. It's really not. I could hand you my Snapchat on airplane mode where you can't post anything, and you could play for it, the rest of the class ignore me, and come out of here knowing how to make a video. It just sounds scary and overwhelming, which it's unfortunate because I used to make a lot of money on videos, but now you can do them really well yourself, right? You really can. It just comes down to, where do you want to spend your time, right? That being said, there are websites like Fiverr, which is Fiverr.com. Fiverr is basically everyone's cheat to, I can go on there and I can get a logo for $5, I can get Instagram posts for $10. What you need to understand is a couple things. Obviously, they're not getting paid what it costs to make that, right? So they're reselling them massively. So I'd see a lot of people in town and in all the towns I go to that go on there and they buy this fancy new logo and they put it on everything, and then they find out 200 agents have that logo. So unless yours is like mine, like I went on there and I had somebody make a Viking Cat logo, And then I got a legal letter 4 days later about how I was using somebody else's Viking cat logo. So you have to be very careful about that, repurposing content. Then it's fun to get ideas off of it, but just be very careful. Buying Instagram likes, buying Facebook likes, buying reshares, retweets, friends, anything like that will destroy your social media, and it's very hard to clean it up because it's fake, right? And then they see that you have no interaction. So there's a lot of agents that are out there that are experts that have 20,000 followers and like 4 people like their picture because those followers are fake, and the social media can handle it. They understand that, they know those algorithms, and so they're not showing that content. And even the people that are on these robots they're sending the content to, they don't have any obligation to like it, right? So don't get sucked into Fiverr because you can use it sparingly.
Fiverr?
Fiverr. I feel like I should tell the wrong address. But Fiverr, if you're in a pinch and you really need to get like a Snapchat graphic made, you need a banner, you need an image, and you just don't have the time, it is a short fix. It's not a long-term fix. I'm going to talk about graphics and some other things in my other class, and that's just basically me vomiting apps at you for an hour. So that one might be a little more conducive to what you're asking.
I'm going to answer your question really quick about the NPD. So if Mary Kate is able to help, first of all, any person that works for Dodge she will help you do a 30-second branding video at no cost to you. You just have to reach out to her and set up a time at the home office, and she'll help you through that process to create your own brand video for yourself, okay? On a localized level, if you're wanting to understand Facebook or how to use Instagram or Facebook Live or any of those things, you have 3 resources depending on which office that you office out of. Your MarTech trainer, which would be either Stacy or Ashley, would be able to be your first person that you could reach out to help with that piece. And then you have AJ Owen, who would also be able to assist you, who would be across the entire company. So I hope that helps answer that question with a little more clarity. Now, if you're wanting to take it to a whole other level and like video, like your listings and doing ongoing video campaigns, that generally you're probably looking at, if it's not something you want to do, you probably are looking at a third party, someone that's what they do all the time.
I won't sell houses if you don't make home videos.
Yeah, so I mean, but I would start very, early on, just, I would start with Mary Kate personally and just meet with her and understand the process.
Poor Mary Kate. Does she get to have a say in this?
No.
Or?
Yeah, but she loves you people anyway, so that's what I would recommend. Or you can reach out to me or her. Herb, you're going to say something? Herb's an expert at this stuff.
When you're done with your point,
I'm good. Go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that the license laws and rules and regulations of the Real Estate Commission require that all advertising be truthful. And buying fake friends and fake likes is not truthful advertising.
Or
Don't do it.
using the hashtags of your competitors, because you can see that there's robots that tell us that. So we found out, like some of the YouTube videos we were making, that somebody from a different brokerage was going through all the popular videos and putting his own tags on it to reroute it, and had to turn that into the Real Estate Commission. So bad day for him. Is it really? I broke the internet. You guys will have all these slides. If you want to go back past all the ones where I can just talk to. Yeah. So I was showing some of the videos where I put the filters in, but apparently the internet hates me. So I get it. But like you can put bunny ears on, or you can make yourself. It does one that has instant makeup on. They're silly on purpose. Snapchat filters, Facebook filters, Instagram, they all have these funny filters you put on your face and it turns you into an animal, or you're in a rock band or whatever. It lets you laugh at yourself, and it gets you over that fear of being on camera at first. You're literally just making fun of yourself. So what I tell people to do, if you're really trying to get in a video and it's a brand new thing for you and you're kind of nervous about being on camera, is find 4 or 5 people that are your friends and have a little brain group, like a brain trust. And you guys have a Facebook group or an Instagram group or a Snapchat group. All of them allow private groups where you share the content back and forth until you're comfortable, and you give honest feedback. If you guys want, I can help facilitate one and put you guys in it, but it helps you get over that fear of being on camera. When you're going on Facebook Live for the first time, I tell people just put it to only show to yourself. You can always make any content you try to do. You can always say, I want it to go to friends of friends, friends, I want it to be public, or it can be only me. So like when I do those internet quizzes about who am I going to marry in 7 years, I share that only to me. One, I don't want anyone to know how much time I spend doing internet quizzes, but also it does help you be able to see how that video is going to perform ahead of time. If you're trying a new camera, a new light, you don't know exactly how it's going to look or feel, go ahead and show it to yourself. You can always delete that off your timeline. Just make sure the next time you go to post something, you check your status so you're not wondering why no one's talking to you ever. That happened. Okay, so there is a lot of really nice features with putting those filters on. The other thing that we had to skip past is the thing called social objects. So if your fear is really yourself being on the camera, find what your social object is. So I have a friend, she's obsessed with bacon, right? She's always posting videos about bacon. It's not her, but she's showing like, oh, I went here, look at this bacon burger I got. Here's this, and it's funny because she's like married to the most vegan person I've ever met in my life, and she's obsessed with bacon. Probably why. Or for me, when I take my long road trips, like I could show myself being like, hey, I'm in a car, still driving in a car, still in a car, 14 hours later, still in a car. But after being in a car 14 hours, you know how great I look and how pleasant I am? So I have different animals in the cars I'm in. I have Walter, who's in one of them. He's a bobblehead, and he wears a suit, and he has a horse head. It's really cool. And people come up and ask me, like, well, how's Walter doing? I'm like, it's a plastic bobblehead in my truck. It's fine. It's there. But it kind of gets people to notice something. Like, they pay attention to that road trip because they're used to seeing Walter. Or I had Mona before. That was a hula girl, and then her skirt started to fall off. It was really getting sad. I had to retire her. I have a little Sebastian the crab that can walk that I keep. So it's just having something like that that you bring and you're using. It sounds a little bit silly, but people kind of get to know about that. Like I joke about Gunther, who you sadly don't get to see an amazing video of.
You call that a social object?
Social object. So it's kind of the thing you know about. Like you've seen the realtor, like the red hat realtor or the realtor in boots or things like that. Having that object that people associate with you, anytime they see it anywhere, it reminds them of you, right? So it's not always got to be you like poking them on the shoulder. It can be a matter of them being like, I know who likes wine, which is a great thing to get associated with because then people send you wine stuff, right? I should have thought that through. I get turtle stuff. Gunther was great. He was like this little and had pneumonia, and I put his breathing treatments on the internet. Like everyone needed to see that, and they really would watch it. And now somebody just posted on my wall yesterday, like Halloween costumes for your turtle. I'm like, settle down, and where do I order them? So this helps you kind of come up with some content ideas too. So let's say you take one of those videos or you take a picture, it'll let you put little dorky hats on it, so you're kind of laughing at yourself. It also lets you ask questions, so you can do polls, questions. You can do a like it or not meter. So if you're showing a remodel, you can have them, you put this little tag on there, it lets them remodel it. You can mention people out there, and then it tells them that they were mentioned in the story, and that's quite popular to get that mention reshared. You also have hashtags and location. Again, location is scary. Hashtags do work in your Instagram stories, just for the time that Instagram stories are up. Hey, okay, there's stickers too, and then you can easily add music. I'm gonna crash it again because there's videos on the next page.
Next animation. Yeah.
Cool. So there's this really cool thing that they do where you can, yeah. The next one doesn't have any video in it, my other presentation. I just want you to know that, Chris.
Good.
This afternoon will be fun though, won't it?
It will be.
So they have a really cool thing that they do where it does this like zoom in. It's called super zoom. And what it does is like, say you have a social object. Say I have that little lobster right here, right? I can turn the super zoom in and it'll like jump up on it, and then it'll put hearts around it and play a little music. Or it'll act like paparazzi and all these cameras are going off and it'll show. So if you're showing a feature in the house, you can have all the little hearts go around it. You can have the paparazzi camera go off of it. They have another one that says rejected. Maybe don't use that, I don't know. But there's some fun ones, and they're always adding new ones to it. There's some Halloween ones I saw being beta tested, so that could be a lot of fun. I think they're smashing pumpkins on it, so maybe don't use that on a house. But you know, it makes it so that video becomes play. A lot of why they make video play is, for one, you don't lose interest in it, and two, so you get over the intimidation factor of being on it. Nobody's going to look perfect if they're going to be on video every single minute of every single day, right? Not that you should be on video that often, but it kind of gets you used to it. The other thing that's really nice with these is, I'm going to talk about BombBomb later. It's a video email program. I don't know if your email program takes video. It probably does. It's pretty standard now to embed those. It lets you leave simple messages to them where you're just kind of having fun, right? Hey, it was fun running around the neighborhood with you. Remember, it was the Jackson house that you really liked that kitchen in, and it was the Leavenworth house. Is that a street? Yep, a Leavenworth house that you that had that attic issue we were worried about. So just keep that in mind. A couple of little notes like that, and you're sending that video. You're just kind of keeping yourself there. It tells you if they watched the video, how long they watched the video, when they quit watching the video, and if they clicked on any of your links afterwards. We're basically stalking everyone all the time. You're also being stalked all the time. There's no actual data security in the world. So sleep tight. How are we doing?
That's a good one.
Cool. Hold on. I'll just speak up my slides here when he does that. All right. It's okay. I once taught how to use the internet when there was no power. So we're good. This is one way to get over Camera-Fright. Have everything break while you're in front of a camera. Superb. All right. So Instagram stories. Everyone's going to download that, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Boomerang is the video they have where it lets you loop a video. So if you've ever seen that where somebody has a video that's kind of looping, it's usually a dog jumping or somebody holding a brand new key, getting excited they have the new key or the just sold sign. A lot of times putting a sign in the yard. This is where Boomerang's really fun. It's a free video app that takes quick videos, and it can just be you putting the sign in the yard or putting a reef on the door or something, but it's like 0.4 seconds.
That's Boomerang?
Boomerang. Boomerang. It's also really cute to do with pets, in case you're wondering. They let you on Snapchat, they have a thing called highlights. So underneath where you saw that Snapchat where it showed all my friends in the circle, you can have a thing called a highlight. You can have highlights under there. It could be a different neighborhood. It could be a different theme. It could be kitchen decorating ideas, whatever it is. And so what happens is, let's say today I film something about me being in front of this class. And 4 days from now, I film something about being in front of another class, and I put those into my story. I can add those to that same collection, be like, hey, great takeaways. And then people go there for the great takeaways. So I did the Results Summit in Vegas that I was talking about. I have one for just that, so you can go there and just see some highlights from that event. You could say, the Armor Acres neighborhood. You can say the Exarban area. You can say fall events that are coming up. Whatever it is that you want to save, or my recently solds. Whatever you want to save as those areas, people can go at any time and look through that content, and it saves it right at the top. So it's very helpful for businesses. A question I get asked a lot is, should I have an Instagram business account or a regular account? When you first get a business account, everybody kind of boo-hoos a little bit because your likes are going to go down a bit because they want to make money at some point. However, the analytics you get on what people are looking at on your Instagram, what they're clicking at, what the age range of the people doing that, the neighborhood, then you know if your content's working or not. I love Instagram for business. So just my 2 cents, I don't work for them. They won't hire me or I would. No, story controls, make sure that your story controls allow for sharing. It is standard, but I set mine to go to camera roll, so it saves everything that I take. And then it will give you a list of who's viewed it, which is very nice. Instagram started a new thing in July, actually end of June they announced it, but it's called IGTV. What that is them trying to compete with YouTube. YouTube's got millions of things, videos on there, and people called influencers. And influencers make them a lot of money because the ads are on the bottom, right? So IG said, or Instagram, which is IG for short, said, how are we going to compete with that? And they decided they're going to make Instagram TV, and they're going to allow longer format videos. So instead of short 10-second videos or 30-second videos, they're going to have longer videos, and it's all going to be vertical format. So the vertical video, we all used to complain and say, please don't do, we hate it. We now have to accept that that's part of our lives, and we're just there now. And I hate vertical video. But IG stories are 10-minute long pieces. So it's very easy for you to build your own webisodes, right? All of your Instagram story followers are immediately your Instagram IG story followers. You can do it within the same Instagram app, or you can download the second Instagram app that's called IGTV. When you have a certain amount of influencers, you can do up to an hour-long episode if you ever so needed to. 10 minutes is a lot to fill. You don't have to have them be 10 minutes, but they can be up to 10 minutes. They automatically play back to back. It's very addicting. It surprisingly pulls you into the content. They have a thing called Cut Story, so if you're making something longer, the app is Cut Story. It's free. It'll automatically cut it down for either your story or for IGTV so that you're fitting those appropriate sizes. Hashtags still work for making your TV channel searchable. Because it is so new, you can be an early adapter. What happens so often with social media is everyone says, I want to wait until it's proven, and then, well, everyone else is on there too, right? So the early adapters tend to get rewarded by being on there first. So the fact that IG Story is so new, there's not a lot of content being out there. I think we put the first one up on Realtor.com like a week ago. So it's just, if you are willing to embrace that and you look at that 10-minute content and what would really make sense, what would somebody really want to watch for 10 minutes, the answer seems to be how-to videos. So if it might be how to decorate for fall, how to make sure your garden looks ready, how to whatever your expertise is, that seems to be, again, just like YouTube, what's the most popular on there, and girls crying. So I don't know, pinch somebody. All right, more IGTV. IGTV, when you do use that cut video, it's free, or it's 99 cents to take off the watermark, take the 99-cent watermark. There's another thing called WeVideo. WeVideo can be another nice training wheel. It was something that NAR supported with, I think, their first or second class when they were doing their tech accelerator. But it does, it's $4 for full mobile use. It's super easy themes for your videos, and what it does is you can put clips on there, you can edit it on the go, but it also has cloud-based sharing. So let's say I'm out there shooting this content, but I don't know anything about editing it. Then somebody like maybe Mary Kate can log in there and she can go through and edit it. Or let's say there's 5 of you on your team and you're all shooting content. You can all load to the same folder and collaborate that way. They did a Justin Bieber music video contest this way that I didn't win. So cool. But it has built-in music and title creation. Music, a lot of times people want to use licensed music, and that's a problem. So this has the music right there that you can use. It kind of suggests it. Until Halloween, it's 31% off right now. So that is called WeVideo. It's one word.
W-E?
Yeah, like we, like me and you, we, video. They have a professional level that's like $12.41 a month, but it gives you 4K, it gives you support, it gives you 650,000 stock materials, which is video content and photo content. Now, is it specific to Omaha? Obviously not. But if you want to say show a neighborhood street, or show somebody working at a desk, or show coffee being poured, like I tried about 20 things and I think I found 18 of them. So it's stock footage is usually very expensive. There's no such thing as custom stock footage, it's just custom footage, just to clarify that term, the bane of my existence. So that does give you some stuff to work with. So you don't necessarily have to go out there and shoot everything. You find 4K footage here, you put your own content over it. That's for one license. If you want to have a team on it, I think it's $21. You can have up to 3 people on it. But again, cloud storage, group collaboration. It's super simple to use. There's filters, there's themes, there's colors, if you've ever noticed video that's gotten turned purple or black or white, or there's some sort of theme over it, it's usually because the video was shot wrong, and it's a great way to save it by being like, no, I was being creative and edgy. You weren't. But that's okay, because it's still video, and you can save it that time by putting filters on it. So it will walk you through that. Apple Clips, if you're an iOS user, they have a thing called Clips. It's made off of Apple. It is amazing. It has 360 immersive scenes. You can put yourself inside, like, Dora's tank, right? Like, I guess it's called the ocean, not Dora's tank, but you put yourself in the ocean, and there's like fish going around you. They have one where you can be in the Star Wars and the Millennium Falcon, where it like kind of cuts out, and it's really cool, and there's noises going on in the background. It has city streetscapes, it's got outer space, it's got all kinds of like weird 70s and 80s ones. Again, it's just about making it laughable to be on the video. It's making you more comfortable being on the video. And you know what? There's times I have somebody who's really hesitant to be on camera. I'm like, come on, we'll be in the Millennium Falcon. It'll be fine, and we can laugh about it. And it kind of gets us talking, and then the video can go to normal. And yes, we were on the Millennium Falcon the whole time, but people watch it because they're like, what the heck? Okay, oh, okay. You know, it works. You lullaby people into it. It will let you turn your speech into animated text, so you can just talk and it'll type in the animated text. It's okay. It's not coming back. It broke up with us. I can accept it.
Oh, it's working.
Oh, really?
Not really.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that's how it'll feel.
That's like every guy. Oh, this is working. Keeps it. Anyways. Super intuitive, streamlined, very easy to work with, and it's on your cell phone. Here's a video of it that you can't see, and another video that you can't see. But Jody has all these slides. So she did say they're going to put them in your backspace, so you can watch all these videos without me watching you laugh at me. Works out well. Zillow has a new thing called 3D tours. I know Matterport was kind of a trendy thing for a while. It's expensive and it takes a lot of time, and it shows every inch of every room. So Zillow came in and said, what if you could just do it with your cell phone, like any cell phone? So they have it now that if you could take a panoramic photo, you can make a 3D tour, and it's free. I know Zillow's a cuss word, and we all don't like Zillow, so there's like 17,000 other ones, but this one's the most popular. So what it does is you capture panoramas, you basically download Zillow 3D tours, it's free, and you say you're an agent, right? And then you can say skip putting the address in if you just want to play with it. And then it tells you like, okay, are you in the living room, the kitchen, tell us where you're at, and then you do a panoramic. And it's so intuitive that it does this thing. Like it shows all these white dots, and they turn green as you go. And if somebody walks in front of it, or you start to get off course a little bit, it's like, no, go back, like time out. Like it makes you go back, and it picks it up. Like it knows human error, so you don't have the issues they had with some of the earlier 3D mapping systems. So it's dang good. You know, I mean, I frankly, I use it myself. So you can go around, and then it'll tell you like walk to the next room. Be stable with holding that as much as possible, but again, it knows how to compensate for us. It knows humans have errors. So they are very nice tours. It makes you hold the phone vertically in the direction of where you're walking. You're not supposed to have it facing you. It has to put that in the instructions for some reason. Stand still during the ending countdown. This is how basic the instructions are. It will tell you, walk, and then it'll tell you stop, and then it'll say 3, 2, 1, walk. So it gives you a 3-second delay. So it's fixed anything that you could mess up, like it's thought of, right? Robots are taking over the world. Walk at a normal speed. That sounds really obvious, but when people film, they automatically walk faster. Like it should feel kind of painfully slow. Like whenever we're taking pans, like in a house, I have to think like really hard to not just be like, and boom. So it is very dynamic. Don't tilt or shake the phone while walking. As you arrive to your next panorama, it'll tell you exactly where to face. It'll tell you what to do. If you have Wi-Fi, then it'll automatically feed it up there. You upload the panoramas, it builds the whole thing for you. You no longer build it. So it used to be that you bring them in there and you drag and drop. Now it does that for you too. Then it gives you an email telling you it's ready to review it. And if something's wrong, you just tell them. I still have a job for now, but you can log into a Zillow account and hit manage my 3D tours. It'll let you edit things on there. You can edit as you want, and you associate it with the listing address, and it'll go live. If you build the tour for them, they will boost your listing, right? So listings that have these, they do have a video tour app. I don't like it as much, but this 3D tour one is like their new baby. So it's the same as with Realtor.com. If you put 3D tours on, they like them. So they also take 99 photos now. So Kansas City just switched to 99. Hyperlapse is another really good video app for like doing neighborhood tours. It's owned by Instagram. It's only good on iPhones. Sorry. But if you hold it, what it does is it was made to do time lapses. It was made so that it would stabilize as you walk from room to room, or you walk outside of a neighborhood, or you put it in your car and you're driving, or you show a sunset. But you can actually pull it all the way down to 1, so it's not speeding up at all. It's just stabilizing it. So that one's really good for live event features, I feel like, and it works much better outdoors. And Microsoft Hyperlapse is the inferior version that you can use if you have a Droid. That's it. And then I would tell you how to find me, but I won't now. So good luck.
Has everyone signed the sign-in sheet?